The royal gardens of Zelthoria glowed with bioluminescent flowers as Princess Kaelara paced anxiously behind the massive crystalline palace walls. Her antennae twitched nervously, sensing something amiss in the evening air. She stopped suddenly, her 6 fingers gripping the railing of the observation deck as she gazed up at the twin moons of her homeworld. The larger celestial body Zinther cast an eerie blue glow across the landscape, while its smaller companion Mithras bathed everything in gentle purple light. For 20 cycles, Princess Kaelara had dreamed of this moment, the return of the human who had saved her life when she was merely a hatchling. The royal advisors dismissed her stories as childhood fantasy, but she knew better. The memory remained crystal clear, despite the passage of time. The human woman with eyes the color of Zelthorian oceans and skin like pale moonstone had appeared during the great invasion of the Gorvalax horde, when all seemed lost. When the royal family huddled in the emergency bunker beneath the palace, the strange alien arrived through a dimensional tier, fighting with technology and abilities that seemed like magic to the Zelthorians. Lady Abigail, they called her, a warrior from a distant world Earth, which most Zelthorians believed to be merely legend. A soft chime from her communication bracelet interrupted the princess reverie. Andrea, the royal scientist and Kaelara's closest confidant, appeared on the holographic display. Her normally composed features looked flustered. "My princess, the quantum sensors are detecting anomalies identical to those recorded during the Gorvalax invasion 20 cycles ago." Andrea reported, her voice trembling with excitement. "A dimensional tier is forming just beyond the palace perimeter." Kaelara's heart raced. "Send the royal guard to secure the area, but with explicit orders not to engage unless threatened," the princess commanded. "This might be our visitor returning." Within moments, Kaelara had boarded, her personal transport vessel racing toward the coordinates Andrea provided. The night air rushed past her as she piloted the sleek craft herself, ignoring protocols requiring royal escorts. A brilliant flash of light erupted from the clearing ahead. The princess set her craft down at a safe distance and approached on foot. Her ceremonial armor gleamed in the moonlight, though she hoped she would have no need for the energy weapon at her side. The air crackled with electricity as the dimensional tier widened. A humanoid figure stumbled through, collapsing onto the soft violet grass of Zelthoria. The portal closed behind her with a thunderous boom. Kaelara approached cautiously, her guards forming a protective circle several paces back. The figure on the ground wore strange armor unlike anything seen on Zelthoria, black and silver, with glowing blue power lines tracing complex patterns across its surface. "Lady Abigail." "Is it truly you?" the princess whispered. The figure removed her helmet, revealing a face that had aged only slightly, despite the 20 cycles that had passed on Zelthoria. Time must flow differently on Earth. Kaelara realized. Samantha Morgan, Lieutenant Commander of the Earth Defense Force. The human woman replied, rising unsteadily to her feet. "I was sent to find you, Princess Kaelara. We need your help." The human looked exhausted. Her short blonde hair was matted with sweat and a healing scar ran along her jawline, evidence of recent combat. "Lady Abigail." "But you called yourself Abigail when you saved me," Kaelara stated, confused. The human shook her head. "That was my mother. She told me about you before she died 2 months ago in Earth time. She made me promise to find you." The guards tensed at this revelation, but Kaelara motioned for them to stand down. Her antennae detected no deception from the human. "Your mother." Kaelara processed this information slowly. The woman who had saved her so many years ago was gone. Yet here stood her daughter, continuing her legacy. "We don't have much time," Samantha continued. "Earth is under attack by the same enemy that threatened your world. The Gorvalax have returned stronger than before. They seek the crystal of Ashara, which my mother hid on your world before she died." Kaelara gasped. The legendary crystal, rumored to amplify psychic abilities 100-fold, was hidden somewhere on Zelthoria. She had always assumed it was merely a story told to hatchlings. Samantha pulled a small device from her armor and projected a holographic star map. "The Gorvalax fleet is here." She pointed to a cluster of red dots moving through space. "They will reach Zelthoria in 10 planetary rotations. Unless we activate the crystal and create a quantum shield around both our worlds, they will destroy everything. Andrea, who had joined them in the clearing, stepped forward. The royal scientist studied the projection with widening eyes. The data matches our own deep space scans. She confirmed. They are coming. Kailara felt the weight of two worlds suddenly rest upon her shoulders. The human her mother's savior now needed saving in return. We must bring you to the palace. Kailara declared. We will assemble the council immediately and begin searching for the crystal. As they boarded the transport vessel, Samantha placed a hand on the princess' arm. Their eyes met across the species divide. Your mother spoke of you often. Samantha said softly. She said you were the bravest child she had ever encountered, alien or human. She knew someday our worlds would need each other again. Tears formed in Kailara's compound eyes, a rare display of emotion for a Zelthorian royal. What were her last words? She asked, her voice barely audible. Samantha smiled despite her exhaustion. Tell the princess with starlight in her antennae that the daughters of Earth and Zelthoria must stand together. The stars themselves depend on it. The transport vessel hummed quietly as it returned to the palace. Andrea was already sending urgent messages to the royal council members, summoning them for an emergency meeting. Kailara studied the human woman beside her. Noticing the similarities to the Abigail she remembered. The same determined set of her jaw. The same piercing gaze. Though Samantha had blue eyes while her mother had green. Do all humans age as slowly as your mother? Kailara asked, curious about the species she had wondered about for so many cycles. Samantha shook her head. No, my mother was special. She was exposed to the crystal. During her first mission, the scientists believe it altered her physiology somehow. She aged only half as quickly as normal humans after that. The palace came into view, its crystalline spires reflecting the moonlight in a dazzling display. The transport docked at the royal landing pad where a delegation of council members already waited, their faces showing a mixture of curiosity and concern. Elder Trizana, the oldest and most respected member of the council, stepped forward, her ancient face creased with deep purple lines. Her ceremonial robe shimmered with embedded bioluminescent crystals marking her high-status princess. What is the meaning of this emergency meeting? She demanded. And why have you brought a human into the sacred palace? The Gorvalax have returned. Kailara stated, simply gesturing for Samantha to project the star map again. Show them. The council members gasped as the holographic display revealed the approaching enemy fleet. Even Elder Trizana took a step back, her normally stern expression faltering. This human is Samantha Morgan, daughter of Lady Abigail, who saved us all 20 cycles ago. Kailara explained. She comes seeking our help just as her mother once came to help us. Impossible. Elder Trizana hissed. Humans do not possess dimensional travel technology. The palace archives record Lady Abigail as a singular anomaly, perhaps even a divine intervention, but not as part of an organized human force. Samantha stood tall, despite the hostile stares. 5 years ago, Earth time, we reversed engineered the dimensional tear technology from data my mother gathered during her mission. Here, Earth Defense Force has been developing it in secret, preparing for the day when the Gorvalax would return. The council chamber fell silent as the implications became clear. Humans were more advanced than the Zelthorians had believed. My mother knew this day would come. Samantha continued. The Gorvalax are not just invaders. They are harvesters of worlds. They consume all life, all resources before moving to their next target. They have already destroyed 3 populated planets in the Earth. Alliance. Kailara felt a chill run through her body. The Zelthorian historians had theorized that the Gorvalax were merely pirates, seeking technology and wealth. But Samantha spoke of something far worse. The crystal is our only hope. Samantha added, the crystal of Ashara is not just a psychic amplifier as your legends suggest. It is a key to activating an ancient defense system, created by a civilization that predates both our species. Andrea, who had been quietly analyzing data on her personal device, looked up sharply. That aligns with some recent archaeological discoveries beneath the eternal desert, she noted. Our excavation Teams found ruins with symbols matching those in the ancient prophecies about the Crystal Elder. Tristana pounded her ceremonial staff on the floor. Even if what you say is true human, why should we trust you with our most sacred relic? How do we know? Activating this crystal won't simply give Earth an advantage over us. Samantha looked directly at the Elder, her expression unflinching. Because my mother gave her life to protect this world, she said she could have taken the crystal to Earth 20 years ago, but she chose to hide it here, knowing Zelthorians would be its rightful guardians. The council chamber erupted in debate, some members arguing for cooperation, others voicing suspicion of human motives. Through it all, Kalara watched Samantha, noting how the human stood calmly, despite the chaos her presence had caused. Finally, Kalara raised her hand for silence. I believe her. She stated her royal authority, silencing the room. Her mother saved me, saved all of us. I will not dishonor that sacrifice by turning away her daughter in our hour of mutual need. The royal council chamber erupted in chaos when Kalara presented Samantha, and her warning elder Tristana, the oldest and most conservative of the counselors, slammed her ceremonial staff against the floor. We cannot trust the word of a human, she hissed. They are known throughout the galaxy as dangerous, unpredictable creatures. Samantha stood tall despite the hostile stares of the alien council. She projected another hologram, this one showing Earth cities in flames, Gorvalak's warships darkening. The skies, my people are dying. She stated simply, we came to you not as conquerors but as allies seeking help. The human woman turned slowly, meeting the gaze of each council member. My mother gave her life, defending both our worlds. 20 years ago, by your time she believed our species were meant to work together. Kalara moved to stand beside Samantha. I was there when her mother saved us all, she reminded the council. When the Gorvalaks breached our defenses and none of our weapons could stop them, it was a human who stood against them, a human who turned the tide. Elder Tristana hissed again. But the crystal of Ashara is sacred if it even exists. The legends say it can reshape reality itself. Such power cannot be trusted to humans. For thousands of years our people have searched for the crystal. Andrea interjected. What if it was hidden in plain sight all along? She approached the ancient mural decorating the council chamber wall. The painting depicted the first royal family of Zelthoria, accepting gifts from the stars. The scientist pointed to a small detail in the corner, a humanoid figure offering what appeared to be a crystalline object to the ancient queen. The painting was so old and faded, most had overlooked this detail. Samantha gasped and pulled a small device from her armor, scanning the mural. The quantum signature matches, she whispered. It's here, inside the painting. Somehow, before anyone could respond, alarm sirens blared throughout the palace. A junior officer burst into. The chamber royal sensors detect a Gorvalak scout ship entering the atmosphere, he reported. They have found us sooner than expected. Kalara made her decision instantly. We must extract the crystal now, she commanded, turning to Samantha. Do you know how? The human nodded. My mother left instructions. She approached the mural and placed her palm against it. The ancient paint began to glow, responding to her touch. A hidden compartment in the wall slid open, revealing a crystal the size of a fist, pulsing with inner light. As Samantha reached for it, the palace shook violently. The Gorvalak's attack had begun. Kalara turned to her guards. Evacuate the palace. Protect our people, she ordered. Then to Samantha. We must activate the crystal now. The human handed the crystal to Kalara. The legend says it must be activated by both species together. Both princesses of our worlds. Kalara looked confused. I am a princess of Zelthoria. But you, Samantha, smiled sadly. My mother never told you. She was Earth, royalty in her own way. The last descendant of an ancient bloodline. The quantum resonance would only work with her DNA or that of her daughter. Together they grasped the crystal as the palace shook around them. A brilliant light erupted from the stone, engulfing both women. Kalara felt energy course through her body, unlike anything she had experienced before. Outside the palace windows, a massive shield of energy expanded outward, covering first the palace, then the entire capital city, and finally the whole planet in orbit. The approaching Gorvalax ships crashed against the shield, disintegrating on contact. Through their connected minds, Kalara could see Earth, a beautiful blue world, where another shield was simultaneously forming, protecting Samantha's homeworld. When the light faded, Kalara found herself still standing beside Samantha. Both of them changed somehow. The crystal had bonded them, creating a permanent link between Earth and Zelthoria, Princess Kalara. Elder Trezana whispered, in awe, her previous hostility forgotten. The prophecy. The joining of two worlds through their princesses. Samantha looked at her hands, now faintly glowing with the same bioluminescence as Zelthorian royalty, while Kalara's, normally purple skin now, had patches of human-like pigmentation. Their transformation was physical proof of their world's new alliance. "I can feel your people," Kalara said wonderingly. "Their hopes, their fears, and I yours," Samantha replied. "Our worlds are connected now, as they were always meant to be." The council chamber fell silent as the implications became clear. Two species separated by vast distances had been brought together by a shared enemy, and now shared a common destiny. "My mother knew," Samantha said softly. "She always said humanity would find its true place among the stars, not as conquerors, but as saviors and friends." Kalara took Samantha's hand, their newly shared biology, making the gesture feel natural despite their different number of fingers. The princess who found her long-lost human savior had indeed shocked everyone, but in doing so, had changed the fate of two worlds forever. The Gorvalax would return, they both knew that. But next time, Earth and Zelthoria would stand together as one people ready to defend, not just their worlds but perhaps the entire galaxy. Days passed as both worlds adjusted to their new reality. Through the quantum link established by the crystal, knowledge and technology flowed freely between the species. Zelthorian scientists marveled at human creativity, while Earth engineers implemented advanced Zelthorian biological technology. Kalara and Samantha remained at the center of it all, their bond growing stronger each day. Through their shared consciousness, they could experience each other's worlds as if they were physically present. One evening, as they stood on the palace observation deck watching the twin moons rise, Samantha turned to Kalara. "The Gorvalax fleet has changed course," she said. "Their main force is regrouping beyond the outer planets." "I can sense it through our link," Kalara nodded. "They fear what we have become together. The ancient prophecies spoke of this. The joining of two worlds would create a power greater than the sum of its parts." Samantha gazed up at the stars. "The crystal shield is holding, but my scientists believe the Gorvalax are developing weapons that might eventually penetrate it. We need to take the fight to them." The princess considered this. "The royal fleet has never ventured beyond our solar system," she admitted. "We lack the technology for extended space travel." Samantha smiled. "Then perhaps it's time your people learned from mine. Earth has been exploring space for centuries. Our ships can travel faster than light." Through their mental link, Kalara saw images of massive human vessels navigating the stars. The Earth Defense Force had hundreds of ships ready for deployment. A new thought formed in Kalara's mind, one that she knew Samantha shared before she even voiced it. What if we created a new fleet? One that combined Zelthorian biological technology with human engineering? Samantha nodded. Excitedly, living ships with human weapons and navigation systems. They would be unlike anything the Gorvalax have encountered before. Andrea, who had been quietly working nearby, looked up from her data tablet. "The ancient ruins we discovered contain schematics for biovessel technology far beyond our current capabilities," she said. "With human help, we might be able to implement them." Elder Trezana, who had become one of their strongest supporters since witnessing the crystal activation, entered the observation deck. "The council has received reports from our outposts near the outer planets," she announced. "The Gorvalax are constructing something massive. A weapon, perhaps, or a flagship. We need to send scouts." Kalara decided we must know what we're facing. Samantha touched her communication device, contacting Earth Command Lieutenant Morgan to Earth Defense Force, requesting stealth reconnaissance drones Deployment to Zelthorian outer system. Sending coordinates now. Through their bond, Kaelara could feel the tension in Samantha. The human worried about her homeworld even as she stood on an alien planet billions of miles away. I miss it too sometimes, Kaelara said softly. Understanding. Samantha's emotions. The feeling of standing on Earth, soil feeling your sun on my face. Though I've never physically been there, I can experience it through you. Samantha smiled. The cherry blossoms will be blooming in Washington soon. I wish you could see them in person. Perhaps someday we will. Kaelara replied, the crystal has changed us both. Who knows what else might be possible? A sudden alert from Andrea's tablet interrupted their moment. We have unusual readings from the palace laboratory, she reported. Something is happening with the crystal. They rushed to the laboratory where the crystal of Ashara, now housed in a special containment field, pulsed with increasing intensity. Small tendrils of energy reached out from its surface, forming intricate patterns in the air. It looks like it's trying to communicate, Andrea whispered, scanning the energy patterns. Samantha approached the crystal chamber carefully. As she neared the containment field, the crystal pulsed in sync with her heartbeat. Kaelara felt it too through their bondits. Not just a key, Samantha realized suddenly, it's alive. In some way it's been guiding us all along. Kaelara placed her hand on the containment field, joining Samantha. The crystal responded immediately, projecting a three-dimensional star map into the room. Far more detailed than any they had seen before. It shows paths between the stars. Andrea gasped. Ancient travel routes, perhaps. But more than that, Kaelara realized, it shows connections. Energy flows between systems. A hidden network connecting all life in the galaxy. Samantha pointed to a dark area on the map where no connections existed. The Gorvalax territory, she whispered. They exist outside the network, cut off from the greater consciousness. The crystal pulsed again, and the map zoomed in on a specific location. A star system near the edge of Gorvalax space. A planet glowing with unusual energy. Signatures, the homeworld of the creators. Kaelara breathed understanding coming to her through the crystal bond. The ones who made the crystal and the network. The Gorvalax drove them to extinction, but could never access their technology. Samantha nodded. The crystal is showing us where to find the answers. How to defeat the Gorvalax permanently, not just defend against them. Elder Trezana, who had followed them to the laboratory, stared at the map in wonder. The ancient texts speak of the Forerunners, those who seeded life throughout the galaxy and created the cosmic balance. They disappeared eons ago. They did not disappear, Kaelara corrected, now certain of what the crystal was communicating. They evolved beyond physical form. They became one with the cosmic network. The crystal is their legacy. Their way of guiding younger species. Samantha understood immediately. If we follow this map, we can find their technology, perhaps even communicate with them. Their knowledge could save both our worlds. Plan formed between them, shared instantly through their bond. They would build a ship unlike any before, one capable of traveling to the Creator's homeworld. One that combined the best of both their species. For the next 50 days, Zelthorian and human, scientists worked tirelessly. The project, named Harmony, became the most ambitious joint venture in the history of either species. The ship grew, rather than being built, its living hull, cultivated from Zelthorian biotech infused with human quantum, computers and weapon systems. The crystal itself would power the vessel, connected directly to Kaelara and Samantha as its pilots. On the day of the launch ceremony, representatives from both worlds gathered in the palace courtyard. The massive ship hovered above, shimmering like a living jewel. Its organic curves housed devastating weapons and defensive systems, its consciousness linked directly to the princesses. We name this ship Unity. First of the new fleet, Ambassador Lori from Earth declared, "May it forge a path toward peace for all our worlds, Unity." Kaelara repeated the name, feeling its rightness, the embodiment of what they had created together. As the ceremony concluded, news arrived from the outer system monitoring stations. The Gorvalax fleet had begun to move again, this time with purpose, heading directly for the quantum shield protecting Zelthoria and Earth. It's time, Samantha said, her face set with determination. Kaylara nodded. We must find the creator's technology before the Gorvalax, break through our defenses. They boarded Unity accompanied by a small crew of Zelthorian and human specialists. As the ship rose into the atmosphere, Kaylara took one last look at her homeworld. The crystal palace gleaming in the distance. The twin moons rising on the horizon through their bond. She felt Samantha's similar emotions as the human thought of Earth. The blue oceans, green forests, and sprawling cities she had left behind. Unity accelerated beyond the atmosphere, its biological hull, adapting to the vacuum of space. The stars beckoned as the ship's consciousness merged with their own, guiding them toward the coordinates the crystal had revealed. Elder Trizana had given them a formal blessing before departure. May you return with the wisdom of the creators and the strength to preserve both our worlds. Andrea had added her own farewell. Remember what you represent, the future of both our species, a bridge between worlds. As Unity prepared for its first dimensional jump, Kaylara and Samantha stood together on the bridge. Their shared biology, a living symbol of what was possible when different species worked as one. The crystal at the heart of the ship pulsed with energy, opening a portal in space before them. A swirling vortex of light and color leading to distant stars. Are you ready? Kaylara asked, though she already knew the answer through their bond. Samantha smiled, the same determined expression her mother had worn 20 cycles ago when she first arrived to save Zelthoria, ready to make history. Together they guided Unity toward the portal. The ship that was part Zelthorian, part human entered the dimensional gateway, vanishing in a flash of brilliant light. Behind them, two worlds waited, protected by the crystal shield. Before them lay the unknown, and the hope of finding the power to ensure peace for all their people. The daughters of Earth and Zelthoria were embarking on the greatest adventure in the history of either world. The stars themselves seemed to shine, brighter, as if welcoming them into the cosmic dance that had begun eons ago with the creators themselves. Through war and peace, through danger and discovery, Samantha and Kaylara would face it all together, bound by a crystal, by destiny, and by the unbreakable connection between their worlds. The princess had indeed found her long-lost human savior, but in doing so, she had become a savior herself, part of something greater than either of them could have imagined. Unity leapt through the stars, carrying with it the hopes and dreams of two civilizations and the promise of a future where no species need stand alone against the darkness.